picked Lifestealer, it was just so that they can get aggressive as possible, but at the same time I think that the Morphling pick was much better for EG, and I think this game is going to be a lot easier for them to execute.
So do you think mediocre kind of is the word that encapsulates that last pick? Not really the real game changer or big strategic win that you would like to see within the draft.
Yeah, and even more importantly than that, I think NEWBEE in a game like this, they're going to want to play as aggressive as possible with KP, but I don't know how easy his game's going to be, especially since there's so many different ways to just get on top of him. They have a lot of different ways to counter-initiate. He is going to have a really good game. NEWBEE have any chance at winning this game. The last game he had quite a fast blink dagger, but we talked about the Slardar trap, where you get that early blink, and if you don't find consecutive fights, your item progression just kind of dies, and you don't really transition into a third core. Whereas in that last game, you saw Universe on that Batrider continue to farm while his teammates were farming. He always led the fights. He continued to get items in that game.
So if KP is our power player, the one who needs to be able to get the successful aggressive initiations and set NEWBEE up for success with this kind of lineup, who do we turn towards on the Evil Geniuses side? Who's going to be the player that sort of stops and mitigates that aggressive play by NEWBEE and keeps the Alchemist in his place?
I think like last game, TPD and Sumail are going to be very key.
We'll take that.
I think if Sumail has a game that's okay, like if he gets a Yule Scepter at an alright time, it should be okay for EG. I'm not sure if he's going to go for the Yules or the Hood. Sometimes you see the Hood on the Timbersaw, and there's a lot of arguments to be made for that, especially with a Skywrath Mage and a Sand King on the other team, as I am just being drowned out right now.
The pounding of the Evil Geniuses fans hungry for NEWBEE blood as we begin our game number 2. The laning phase is going to be Sumail matched up against Moo's Alchemist, a classic for NEWBEE. Kaka had a brief appearance there in the mid lane, but will now transition his way up the top to try and enable KP. As we said, he's got to have a good game. It all starts with a decent laning phase. Bottom lane, we're going to see Evil Geniuses push aggressively against NEWBEE. Hal already taken a large amount of damage. They're going to fully commit, and there it is! Pound him down to the ground. At the same time, we do see Evil Geniuses. They lose PPD. The Shadow Demon goes down to the combination of the Skywrath Mage and the Sand King, but it's First Blood claimed by the boys who bleed blue.
First Blood and the fact that it went on a core, unbelievable. They did not expect Zai to deal that much damage, and Zai now going to suicide to the Roshan. Very happy with what he's accomplished already. Might even start to rotate to top to zone out the Skywrath Mage in this lane, but his job isn't done in this bottom lane, as Universe is going to pick up a good amount of farm now.
Already having Tranquil Boots, life is going to be pretty easy for Zai now as he moves across the map, making appearance after appearance in these lanes, trying to have an impact. Still a question of how will top lane go for NEWBEE. Obviously, they've already got one kill on PPD. See if they can get even more against Fear's Morphling, try and shut him down.
And Sumail in this mid lane just continues to farm very efficiently. This is what we expect out of the Timbersaw versus Alchemist matchup. Most matchups that Alchemist is going to be a part of are usually pretty bad for him just because he has no kill potential on the enemy mid laner, and he doesn't have the best way to harass. Sumail can just keep dragging creep aggro to himself, building up those reactive armor stacks which allow him to just sit inside that acid cloud, which is only physical damage.
So considering that the matchup is not very favorable for Moo, gotta give props to him for so far keeping pace with Sumail, or at least somewhat 9-1 compared with a 10-3 on Sumail, but it's only gonna get harder as Sumail picks up his level 5 and inevitably kill power at level 6 with that Chakram. The Elder Titan makes his way in, or at least the Spirit does anyway. Zai will try and punish Moo, get some extra right clicks in there. Pushing him out of lane as much as possible, not giving Sumail that free time. Top lane, AP and Kaka going at it. PPD and Fear so far, the lane position, the equilibrium seems to be in their favor, and they're doing not so well in CS though, actually. KP only 5-3, considering they've only gotten one kill. They don't seem to be entirely shutting Fear out, who's 11-6.
Yeah, bigger concern right now for me is that Universe is getting a lot of farm on the Stasis Void at this bottom lane. Stasis Void is one of those off-laners, which is a little bit odd because this hero doesn't really care about XP as much as he cares about farm. He wants a decent blast timing, he wants to be more than just a Chronosphere for his team, and right now he's accomplishing that right now as a result of this dual lane.
And he can very easily stand up toe-to-toe against Hao. As you can see, that bash coming to his favor.
Yeah. Lifestealer is not great against Faceless Void in a 1v1 matchup. Void's got high armor. If you look at Lifestealer, he barely has anything. He can't really trade hits just because Hao doesn't have the most efficient way to heal. All of the spells are a significant mana cost to him, and if he decides to pop anything, Universe can simply just get out, which means that in this bottom lane Chuan, the better thing for him to do is just stack, try to gain in levels, but when it comes to a one-on-one right-click war, Universe is almost always going to come out on top, especially with this poor-man shield.
Oh, the bounding rune barely snagged by Kake. He wanted to leave that one open for Moo.
Oh, this mid lane though.
They are going to get a lot of damage here on Moo as they set up with the stomp. Sumail actually abandoning that one, not going for the whirling death, and just leaves it to Zai. The extra harassment in Moo, not even able to cut back directly into the lane. That's Zai's influence, pushing him out, forcing him to fully wrap around, keeping the CS at bay for the Alchemist.
Yeah, no. He's going to contest right now. It's going to be in this top lane, which is doing an okay job of early commitment to the Classic Finale. It's very good against the Morphling. It's got such short range on his auto attacks. But at bottom, Hao is getting pretty low. Universe is going to make the jump. But he gets the bounty bash.
He's got it too. Hao! He'll be chased down underneath the tier 1 tower.
Radiant's
Universe
bottom tower is under attack.
He gets his very first bounty of the game. He doesn't have time walk just yet, Chuan. He gets the counterplay. Will be able to provide vindication for the loss of Hao's life, but still, a play by Universe being made, managing to get a kill solo in the outplay.
I don't know how many times I've seen that, where a Lifestealer just gets right-clicked down and up and top. They're going to disrupt, but they don't have any follow-up, but you've got to be aware of that right-click from the Void. He deals so much more damage. Lifestealer, way overestimating how tanky he is. He barely has any armor. Even being near the tower, he only has 4. Can't afford to trade those hits.
KP's been doing a whole lot better recently in CS, but he may be countered as Evil Geniuses are going to come in with a wrap.
I really want Kaka first.
Yeah, they're going to make the roll in, not able to hit the waveform onto the Skyrim tank. Still easy to pop. They will manage to get the stun, but the stomp hits on 2. Kaka starts getting away, but into the trees he goes, pursued out by Evil Geniuses. KP going to be forced to just TP away. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Universe is going to be slowed down here, perched out, and open wounded. He'll be taken away. The La La Land. Chuan executes him with the Purifying Flames.
Just a little bit too cocky is that first kill. I think he thought to himself, I can continue to play very aggressively in this lane. But that time walk, only level 2.
Making the break for it. 100-meter dash to the bounty rune is going to be won by Sumail. Takes that one away from Moo, and they're going to try and keep Moo down, not even letting him get more than 1 CS as the game comes in. Smoked up, gonna lead with the disruption. Zai, easy stomp, and the execution by Sumail will be enough burst damage. The regen's coming through, but they get him anyway. Sumail gets him with the final right click.
And even with the Alchemist Chemical Rage pop, not enough regen. Sumail, that pure damage comes in handy right there, as does the stat steal from this Whirling Death. And this is the kind of game that you want out of your Timbersaw. He's going to have to snowball out of control because he has to tank so much just so Fear can have a decent game, as Fear has largely been shut out in CS.
Hao may have to be careful now. I don't think they can straight up just Chronosphere Hao and go for a stomp. I think he's a little bit too healthy now, but if he gets low enough, as you can see, Universe is trying to lead him in, and here it comes. They're going to try and go for the combination now. The Chronosphere leads out as they get the right kind of bashes. Hao low enough, but he gets the rage. Invest inside the creep. I don't think Evil Geniuses have anything. Yep, it's going to be a pretty healthy creep. No opportunity for a deny. They're going to try and stick with it in hopes that the creep will get low enough that they can go for the deny play. But it's going to be a long-term commitment. Hao is going to pop himself up, knowing that he's got rage off cooldown. Oh, he gets bashed up by Universe. He's now going to be chased down underneath the tier 1 tower once again. No rotations by NEWBEE whatsoever, despite knowing everything that was going on. They leave Hao to his own devices, and the RNG plays against him.
Yeah, Hao gets antsy right there, tries to pop up, go for the TP, but underestimates Universe's ability to call on RNG. That skillful dash,
Radiant's bottom
getting
tower
quite a lot of farm here.
attack.
The one position from NEWBEE has not had a good time, and they're going to need him to create a lot of space. They were anticipating him getting a decent armlet timing, but largely been shut out, and Moo, his armlet timing is also not going to be too great, as EG going to invade this mid lane. Here making his way over. Does now have the replicate of the Alchemist, but just trying to buy time as Sumail They want to take out this bottom tower. This would allow them to put a lot of pressure into this jungle without even getting a ward down. Hao's going to make his way down, and
are they going to try and TP in for this one?
No, this has to be a free tower. NEWBEE instead are going to make their rotation on mid.
Radiant's bottom
and
tower
Hao is a little bit too far forward.
Mu playing very defensively right now, just farming neutrals, not putting himself in that mid lane just yet. The NEWBEE supports and KP. +1 will rotate through that mid lane, not able to find a pick off on Sumail just yet, but as they go down river, they may run into him. Not in the best position though. They are instead going to run into Zais. He came across to try and catch Mu. Not the case though. The rebuttal in turn comes from NEWBEE as they claim the kill for Chuan.
Yeah. Downside for them again though is all their kills are going on Chuan, who's playing this Oracle. More importantly, they keep nabbing support heroes. I don't think they're quite satisfied with that. The last game they had the same issue. They were getting kills, but they weren't getting them on the heroes that they needed to. Not on that Sven, not on that Storm Spirit. We're seeing a similar trend develop here. Good news for them though is that they are starting to accelerate in farm. All of the 3 cores on their team have had a pretty okay laning phase and transitioning out quite nicely.
There's the progression by Sumail. He's got himself the Vid Booster, Arcane Boots, and now closing in on the Bloodstone. But Mu already has his armlet, decent amount of survivability on him. See how quick that Radiance comes into play. Fear, meanwhile, operating on just Boots, Ring of Aquila, and a Ring of Health. Its CS has been a bit shut down as that top lane built up momentum. KP, in fact, is going to be working towards a pretty quick Blink Dagger, even clearing through a neutral stack here. Tempted contest here by PPD. He's not going to get too much out of it, though. Lane closing in, NEWBEE. Making it close enough for the Ancient Seal. Maybe they would... Nah, not even. They've got a level 6 now on Kaka. That bit of burst damage is going to be needed. They can bring down the Timbersaw without him throwing out any disruptive spells. Universe in the top lane, he's going to go for KP, trying to stop that Blink Dagger before it's online. The Burrow strikes up though, and they're going to need to be hella lucky with the bashes, and it's just not quite there. No disables, and clean getaway for NEWBEE.
Yeah, Sumail even makes his way up there.
Dire's
First big break
middle
for
tower
NEWBEE
is under attack.
not a lot of bashes in that Chronosphere. KP, he's going to take that Chrono, allow Hao to aggressively farm in this bottom lane, and NEWBEE reset a little. Their 2 supports anticipating a move at bottom, but unfortunately for them, EGG nowhere nearby.
This support duo, you're not going to see a whole lot of it. Lacking in real hard disables. They have a silence, they have slow, they even have a purge, but they don't have that hard stun. But they may go up for it in just raw damage, and we're going to see it executed here as they start going on to PPD. The right disruption is going to be needed, but it's not in time. He gets silenced up. KP on the way hits the Bro Strike, but now they just stumble straight into the hands of Sumail. Throws out the long-range Chakram, landing on a Kaka, but there is going to be heal coming out from Chuan. Evil Genius is not able to snag a kill for the stumbling forward NEWBEE.
Perfectly fine, barely takes any follow-up damage. Fear up the top, continues to push in the wave, but NEWBEE are going to respond. They've dragged heroes up here. They have a lot of mana available on them.
Fear starts morphing into strength. He's a little bit out of mana. He's got 1 magic, 1 stun. Will be hit by the stun. The silence is going to wear out. The burst damage not quite fast enough.
They should continue to chase for this though. Fear's out of mana.
He's got the slow. KP rapidly closing in. Has the Bro Strike ready to go. Fear, he knows he's dead. KP even going to wind out maybe at the center, ensuring Fear's dead.
NEWBEE finally strike back on the map. They have to do maybe 2 or 3 more of these rotations to create space for their 1 and 2 positions, as Alchemist does not want to help out early on. So far, NEWBEE have done an okay job, as a Blink Dagger is already picked up, and look at this play. KP has given the Blink Dagger to Kaka, who's holding onto it, so that he doesn't reveal, so that they can get another jump as a result.
See if they can catch Evil Geniuses by surprise. They need the help. Thankfully using the PC at the right time. He's going to dodge a lot of magic damage, but there's just too much. Eventually, that invulnerability comes to an end, and so too does Chuan's life.
Yeah, NEWBEE continuing to try to pull EG into thinking KP doesn't have that Blink Dagger quite yet. But Kaka gonna hand it off now, and it looks like they want to go for another combination setup.
Ow! Oh, he put himself into the trees, hoping to be able to get a TP out. Didn't use the TP just yet, but he may be able to use it to escape, but unfortunately
gonna go for it. Is there a bash?
Universe, he needs the RNG, and he doesn't get it this time!
Alright, that's fair though.
That the first time jump to top lane, Fear, just like that. NEWBEE are gonna find the kill on the carry of Evil Geniuses.
That was so cool by them, what they did.
Radiant's
Constantly
bottom
passing
tower
around
is
that
under
blink dagger to
attack.
make sure that
Dire's
EG have
top
no
tower
idea.
is
The
under
last thing
attack.
that Fear saw when he went up to that top lane was KP didn't have the blink dagger. If he had it, he would have bought it at the side shop. So he assumes he's fine in that engagement, but instead he goes down. That is long-term thinking from NEWBEE.
Already NEWBEE, they're doing so much more with KP than they managed to do last game with the blink dagger pickup, connecting a lot more successful ganks, and this is freeing up the space for NEWBEE. His progression in items, doing great. He's going to have
Radiant's
a
middle
15-minute
tower is
radiant
under
at this
attack.
point.
Yeah, and EG has gone for so many plays that this Faceless Void has started to fall behind and farm. Such a good laning phase, being able to solo kill that Lifestealer, but after that unsuccessful chrono at top, Universe was kind of just forced around the map as Timbersaw took up so much of that farm, and EG in a position where, because of Fear's back-to-back deaths, they don't even have him to rely on. And meanwhile, this Alchemist not to complete this Radiance, and this is going to be a very strong timing for him.
He is a ticking time bomb, to be sure. 6-6, 14 minutes in. You think this game is even, though. You would be wrong. NEWBEE do have a bit of an edge for now, especially with the way that both the Alchemist and KP Sand King are progressing.
All of these cores from NEWBEE are doing quite well for themselves. The supports aren't even doing too bad, as they are kind of keeping up with EG's 2 supports. Got 3 out of the top 4 net worths in this game, and they're going to be happy with how this game is going. Their aggression, it doesn't feel like it's so 5-man based, and it more feels like this Kaka and P combination has been able to accomplish
Dire's
a lot.
bottom
But this time they're going to go for the 3-man smoke. They really want to invade this jungle and maybe even loop around back to this top lane.
3-man smoke with the party surprise. Side KP.
Maybe if they can grab Sumail, they're going to go all the way around.
They can get Sumail.
Get this ward.
Take him off cleanly. Might be able to turn this into an objective, but
Radiant's
down the
top
ward.
tower is under
They
attack.
see Sumail now, but they've already fully committed going up to the top lane. PD and Fear, thinking that maybe something's off, they start retreating, playing defensively, playing back inside their lane.
Gonna spot this. They might be a little bit too late as PPD are ready on the way out, and NEWBEE gonna guess incorrectly. It's a 4-man smoke game.
Regeneration!
Wastes quite a bit of time. During this
Radiant's
time,
middle
Sumail
tower
played
is
so
under
far back
attack.
that they thought he might have been bait. Got that Bloodstone completed. Now NEWBEE are gonna reveal themselves. The bruise is up.
Evil Geniuses, in turn, will find the space for a bit of an extra free bar. So, while no action comes of that play by NEWBEE, Evil Geniuses will gain a very small tactical edge because of it. See if they're able to make their own play in due time. Come down to Sumail.
Dire's
Turn
middle
this game
tower is
around.
under
He's the
attack.
one with the pretty much all the farm on Evil Geniuses, sitting at 7,600 net worth, while Fear, as well as Universe, are only at 5k. Those heroes are going to be a bit slower anyway.
Right now, Fear lagging so far behind in farm in that last game. Almost always led the game in net worth, but this game, even behind that Lifestealer who was solo killed in the lane. By
Look at this. The drawings on the map. Tuan knows
Dire's
exactly
top
what's
tower
going on.
is under
They've
attack.
got the aggressive vision set up on the left-hand side of mid,
Radiant's
as well as behind
bottom
that mid
tower
tier
is
1
under
tower.
attack.
They know that Evil Geniuses have rotated to the right-hand side and have gone into the Radiant jungle. They've drawn the wraparound. They say they're going to go through Radiant jungle, they're going to try and wrap around on mid, just like we tried not so long ago against Sumail. So stay out of that area. Let's play at the top lane as much as possible. KP still pushing out that lane, waiting for anyone. TP and defend the tier 2 so we can get
Dire's
the
top tower
surprise
is under
initiation
attack.
with How waiting inside. But they give up on that. Now did put themselves in mid, perhaps fearing that Moo's life is in danger.
Gonna get spotted by that ward is NEWBEE. Another 4-man rotation, and EG might want to set up a trap for this.
Both
Here's
teams.
actually, they're gonna send an illusion out, and maybe they go all in for this.
The smoke pops, but they realize it is just an illusion. They don't rest the heroes apart. They're behind. They catch Universe with a silence.
Even knowing that EG still get caught out, not gonna get clipped by that
Dire's middle
stun.
tower
But this is
is
gonna be a
under
free mid tower, and NEWBEE being in
Dire's
prime
middle
position to
tower
keep
has
going as
fallen.
they are set up on the right side. EG can't afford to be too aggressive here.
Both teams reading the smoke rotations from the other side so damn well, but The execution is what separates NEWBEE from Evil Geniuses. NEWBEE do manage to get the big core kill, push in mid, and will now control the map.
Dire's middle
NEWBEE just
tower
gonna back
is under
out.
attack.
They got what they came for. They got a core kill out of that. They know this Timbersaw is doing okay with the Morphling. Is so far behind the farm. They knew when he was at, they'd be incredibly satisfied. They are going to deward that mid ward, one of the more common places to put it. NEWBEE just going to back out, continue to farm. They can rely on this Alchemist. Doesn't have too many natural counters in a game like this. As he decide, they just lack disables.
Yeah. Yasha coming in for Moo. Will have that full-on Manta Naga Siren style split push coming into his play with the Radiance illusions all over the map. Just in the 5 to 10 minutes.
It is going to be a Yules, by the way. Instead of a we talked about how couldn't make a case for either. As PPD get clipped, but he was nowhere near.
This means his ward was also spotted out. Tuan on his way to take that one out. So Evil Geniuses, they're left with very little vision. All they have is that mid ward that is placed behind the tier 1 tower that spotted out the smoke earlier. And that is it. Everything else is pretty dark.
I don't even know if NEWBEE is aware that that ward is there, just because their smoke tank was still successful.
Yeah. So maybe it will still catch them off guard. Meantime, though, NEWBEE are not really giving any opportunities for Evil Geniuses at this point. And more aggressive warding being laid down. They're going to try and get some vision of this tier 2 at top lane. See if they can get a good epicenter play. Actually, it's only level 1 epicenter. He needs another 47 experience to get the bump up in damage. And they need every little bit they can get if they want to be able to pop a tanky hero like Fear.
Right now, they just be satisfied with getting any of the cores from EG. They haven't really slowed down this Timbersaw who is 3-0. At the same time, they have so many different ways to deal with them, especially if they can get the initiation with the Sand King. They can burst them so fast. That's why you have a PPD. Always wait in the wings with that level 4 disruption.
Dire's top tower
now NEWBEE are going to start the assault at top. EG don't really have a response for this Ancient Granite Golem. And the Manta style from Moo just going to constantly shove in the waves. EG are going to give up this tier 2 tower. NEWBEE looking so good right now.
NEWBEE very cleanly will escape back up and deal with the lanes that are pushing in. Alchemist already at the bottom lane. Evil Geniuses do have the vision down there, and I think they're going to, yep, there it goes. They're going to go for the smoke play here. Wrap towards their vision. Got the information for a pickoff here. Just up whether or not NEWBEE stick around, and unfortunately for Evil Geniuses, it looks like they're going to back out. In fact, more TPs coming in. They're playing so aggressively here in the top lane, and nobody besides Zai has shown himself. They're afraid of an incursion from Evil Geniuses, and their fears would be absolutely correct. Now NEWBEE push out as they've got the reinforcements. Moo putting himself on the front lines, tanking any potential EG threat. Evil Geniuses, in turn, will back themselves away, feeling that yet another tank has gone unsuccessfully. The Granite Golem getting closer and closer to PPD. Careful.
PPD is kind of having this weird standoff where under attack. You can't really get close to
Radiant
it,
structures
but at the same time, the Granite Golem is not that threatening.
Yeah.
Just kind of staring at each other and daring each other to make a move, but
Dire's
EG instead is going to push in this mid wave. Tower is already quite low.
Fortified.
Now we're going to start to see the TPs in, as they don't want to just give up this tower for free. That would enable EG to start controlling up that jungle. And they are buying time for this Morphling to continue to farm. 22 minutes in, just about to complete the Lincolns. Not the kind of game that Fear was hoping to have.
They still get that tier 1 tower in the bottom lane while also defending their own mid tower. Feels like this is one of those plays that NEWBEE knows best. Now they're going to find the initiation. PPD in serious trouble. How? Going to try and slow him down with the open wounds, but he knows there's a purge just waiting with his name written on it. PPD. He can counter Hao's movements. Now they're going to be able to find the counter. Chuan is going to be the target of choice. Almost bursted down. Can't quite get off the ultimate. The silence on you. Follow-up laid out by KP. He's got to get out of here. Pops the Sandstorm. Going to be stomped up. Burrow strike up in 3 more seconds, but no escape to be had. The big offlaner of NEWBEE goes down. Hao comes in. Will be able to take out one, but now Universe controls both. Samael going to be able to get the entrance here. Entertaining stop, and Conqueror still on target. Oh, Moody, don't try to get the jump out. How? He will be able to make an escape, but still, Evil Geniuses take the best of that engagement. Kill 3. They will be able to find one more. Sumail gets out, takes them down in the end. Sumail looking for a fifth all by himself. The rest of his allies have all run away. Sumail says, "Got to do this!" And he can! Sumail times the Whirling Death perfectly and gets his move!
Unbelievable team fight from EG. For a second, it looked like they weren't going to have enough damage, but this Timbersaw just hunts everybody down relentlessly in EG. The team fight to even things up for them as they slow down the Alchemist's progression. 5-man wipe for them as Fear manages to stay alive in that fight.
Ever so barely, and that is huge. We now have 16 Bloodstone charges on Sumail. He's got level 3 Chakram. You can see the net worth graph plummeting in experience and a serious dip downwards in gold.
With Alchemist in the game, it's always going to be hard to judge the gold advantage that the enemy team has, but you can always look towards the XP graph, which will be a lot more telling. The Timbersaw still has very good ways to deal with the Alchemist right now, as we're finding out. At the same time, NEWBEE, they didn't have their big ability. The epicenter just wasn't there as KP was caught out by that Xayah Earth Splitter in conjunction with the Stasis Void, which kept him locked down for so long. Now he's got a Blink Dagger of his own. Universe gonna get some more clean initiations off for EG.
Sloppy play by NEWBEE has led to a new life for Evil Geniuses as they start racking in, picking up new items. Blink Dagger, as you said, for Universe is going to get them so many more opportunities. Sumail, seemingly endless amount of mana coming soon for him. TPD, it'll be a free pick off for NEWBEE. Not much he can do here, but just buy 2 more seconds with that disruption.
Gotta send the illusions over. NEWBEE wasn't falling for it. Or we would have chased him down anyway.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Need
Radiant's
overall
courier
team fight
has
says.
been killed.
Oh, Courier goes down and at bottom.
Off.
Universe is pinging for it, but
Is he going to be able to get there in time? He sees Moon, and there it is! Holds Moon played, canceling that TP
Radiant's
with
middle tower is
Chronosphere.
under attack.
Then the 20,000 net worth Alchemy wants more. Sumail's gonna find one more. It's gonna be Taka. Here comes the epicenter. Surprise! It jumps in. Sumail gets popped just like that. For a Sky Wrap Maze, that'll be worth it for NEWBEE. They're gonna find Universe as well. Can't time want that one off. Spear and the rest of Evil Geniuses now on retreat, but KP's gonna pursue out. He's got a Blink Dagger. He knows Spear may jump over.
want Xayah out of
go
it.
Xayah instead. Slowing it down with the open wound. PPD in turn will slow down How with a purge. KP pushed back by PPD while Fear goes for Swan. Swan popping his ultimate defensively, but PPD and Sumail's right back in and he's already popped How. He boots a travel ban and is now going to try and chase down KP. NEWBEE have overextended their welcome and they lose 5.
and just like that, another 5-man team wipe. Back to back. Even without Sumail went down so early in that fight, they've got enough of the 2 supports from EG putting on an absolute clinic with their abilities.
Radiant's top tower
NEWBEE
is under attack.
just stumbles once and Evil Geniuses just keep shoving them backwards. Now Evil Geniuses look to be able to take Roshan, get the Aegis into their hands, and you may just call this an EG game favorite now.
I mean, the crowd was silent as NEWBEE took that mid game. They ran with it, but EG consecutive back-to-back whole team fights. They just wipe out 5. Now they look to be in such a strong position. Sumail continuing to scale. Now he's got the Aegis, level 19 already on him. And Morph now starting to find the farm. These 2 supports from EG that have enabled almost all of this. Keeping him inside. Not nearly talked about enough.
NEWBEE going to take a bit of a pause here to farm up, and I'm sure in part
Radiant's middle
wait
tower
for
is
their
under
big
attack.
item, that Octarine core that
Radiant's
was kicked off
structures
earlier
are
on the
fortified.
courier. They still don't have that one for another 40 seconds. So
Radiant's middle tower
And
has
Fear
fallen.
got that mid tower. Even with 2 cores, they're unable to deny it. And I think right now NEWBEE is reeling. They did not expect to lose back-to-back fights, especially with the Radiance, how farmed both of their cores were in comparison to this Morphling who had almost nothing.
I mean, they were controlling the early game so well. The laning phase went pretty damn decent for KP up at the top lane. Past that 5 minutes, it seemed like they just picked up steam, and they routinely picked off here, put pressure on the map in order to allow the Alchemist to get farmed. They were doing it perfectly, executing the strategy that they needed to. They leave one opening for Evil Geniuses, and now EG right back in it.
Like, want to start gathering up. They've got this Aghanim completed now on Sumail. More importantly, they still have this Aegis.
This is where we're really going to see that draft advantage come into play, right? We said, you know, the Lifestealer may not be that effective in like Morphling and this Sumail Timbersaw. Very mobile heroes that can output a lot of damage and kite the Lifestealer. Now that that gold advantage that NEWBEE had racked up for themselves is drawing to an even amount, going to see the strategy of Evil Genius's draft really come into play.
And Pierre gonna make his replicate off of Zone Illusion from the Shadow Demon Disrupt. Start making his way down there.
Bottom tower
Quite a bit of damage, and NEWBEE have absolutely no intention of fighting this bottom lane. I think they want to reset this game, make it a little bit more calmly, just because of how the last two fights have gone. I mean, just look at the difference in net worth. Alchemist teams are routinely 10k ahead. It has all been EG in the past 5 minutes.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Seems like the big problem for them is the Sumail Timbersaw. They were to just buy themselves a bit more time and get the next round of items, or maybe it's just a change up in tactics. What did NEWBEE need to do?
Pick up the top, Zai. They thought about it, they dove quite deep for that one, but you're instantly gonna respond Universe.
Universe blinks slightly in the wrong direction, may still catch KP. Never mind. Gets up pursuit, and KP hiding himself deep in the trees.
NEWBEE doing the correct thing, playing in this top side of the map, force EG back, and not get the value out of this Aegis that they wanted. Well, he's on the hunt, he's got a Blink Dagger. Can he find out of it? Nothing is. Everybody from NEWBEE starts to get out, and I think this is going to lead to a straight up tier 1 power push from EG.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
NEWBEE to just split up the waves using the Manta style from Mu, who desperately needs to get 6 slotted before this next fight.
Sumail telling NEWBEE that he doesn't actually need a teak to be able to push down his tier 1 tower. Timbersaw not exactly known for their right-click damage, but the tank and time. Sumail will take the tier 1, and with the creep wave, start pressuring that tier 2 tower.
Radiant's
but NEWBEE are already set up. They've got KP on the side, ready to go with the epicenter. Sumail has the Aegis though, and that is not their target of choice. They want to be able to go towards the back line, but they're a big line. They're going to start their initiation on the Sumail. Wait for Evil Geniuses to respond. Now the epicenter steers out of the end. Here comes the EG falls just like that, and now Sumail's got to make his escape on life number 2. Blink to the right-hand side. Timber chains away, but it's no chance. The kid goes down, and NEWBEE, they strike back hard in this second game. EG getting way too overconfident there as the first epicenter we've seen in quite some time hits its mark as NEWBEE strike back with this 6-slotted Alchemist leading the way. They set this all up by going onto Sumail, forcing Evil Geniuses to come
three-man burrow
and
strike.
that sets KP up for the most beautiful epicenter and 3-man burrow strike.
Is under attack.
You still have this Chronosphere available. NEWBEE, they've got to be careful for this, but with Mu being as farmed as he is, I don't think they're too worried. They can just continue to send him forward. EG don't have the best way to burst him down, especially with the Alchemist. 1000 HP, he's got the Oracle waiting behind him, the counter initiation from the Sand King. Now EG have something to worry about. A lost team fight for them is going to set them back much further than they'd like. Do have this F-Blade now completed on the Morph. They're going to go for the smoke out, and they want to catch NEWBEE unawares. That's been what's working out for them so far. Forcing KP to just run back, take him down.
Well, they're rapidly getting close enough to a free pickoff here. See if they go down or try and cut over to the tier 2, or even better, they actually have a ward down. Now, they pick off on Chuan. Oh, Chuan actually swings himself forward, stays ahead of Sumail. Lots of quick reactions, not sure which, but I think he's going to go down anyway. Maybe he buys himself enough time for the rest of his team to come in. NEWBEE actually going to think about fighting this one. They're backing away once again. Chuan buys himself some time to that Glimmer Cave. And Storm with Hal inside. Now they're actually here. Now the moves here with the Chronosphere. The perfect corner! He is outside of that Chronosphere! All of a sudden he sees that Hal is inside that thing. He starts getting some free right clicks. Fear in some trouble. Bounces over to his replicate though. Ain't the left doing so much damage. Oh, Chuan executed by Sumail. Evil Geniuses. It will walk away from that one. One universe down, but they picked up so much more. 3 members of NEWBEE went down from that game.
Very well done by EG, positioning themselves. That Chronosphere could not have been scripted even better as the waveform just made it over the edge. Managed to catch the Sand King by the tail with the Chrono. And they weren't able to utilize any of the damage from Moo, as they need that Sand King to stay alive for he has that lockdown so Moo can continue to pursue. Can't do it on his own against this Lincoln Sphere Morphling.
Yeah, the truly dangerous thing, right, is that the Morphling is surviving through these engagements now. He's already got the Ethereal Blade. This is only going to get worse for NEWBEE. Why they need another clean execution like they did in that top lane. See if they can start threatening some objectives. First of the Aghanim Scepters coming out from the Alchemist.
Immediately gonna give it away.
Try and swarm into the dire jungle here. Push Evil Geniuses back. Bottom lane is still pushing out this strategy with the Morphling.
He's gonna give it to he has that point booster, but
maybe gonna be using it for something else. They value the long range throw strike. Would have preferred it, maybe on the Skywrath main for the extra burst damage?
I don't think there's too much of a better target. He can even go for the Octarine of this and force so much of his cooldowns. With the reduced Blink Dagger, Force Staff, Burrow Strike, well worth it. EG, it's like they're reluctant to meet NEWBEE head on. And right now, what's determining these fights is who gets to jump off, KP or Universe. These are the 2 men to watch in this match. As whenever we've seen KP get an epicenter off, NEWBEE have dominantly won the fight. EG, conversely, whenever they get the Chronosphere off on any of the core targets, they can burst them down so quickly.
This strategy of the Shadow Demon Morphling, we actually didn't talk about it too much, where they get the Disruption illusions, they replicate off of one of those illusions, and then Morphling just has a second hero to play around with. It's quite strong. It just didn't really feel that much impact early on, where the Morphling was rather underfarmed, but now that Morphling is rapidly catching back up to the top echelons of net worth. It's sitting at 16,000. We are really going to see that second Morphling and the power of the duo come into play.
Pushes out so fast. Always applies pressure. NEWBEE gonna break their smoke mid anytime, and it looks like EG trying to play his 5. We desperately want this initiation,
but they do not have their Alchemist. They're going to try and jump in anyway.
Not afford to do this.
Yeah.
KP has to be able to catch them unawares. That epicenter, we talked about it. That's the key here.
Regeneration!
Back to 12 Bloodstone charges after that last team fight. Universe building up some damage, does have the Diffusal Blade as well as the Blast on top of that initiating Blink Dagger for him.
EG gathering around this roach pit, they know this is where the next big team fight's going to be. Here, just continues to make replicates, push out the waves, forcing NEWBEE to show themselves. NEWBEE going to push them back just the other way.
Clash may be coming, the Radiant. NEWBEE do scan out one of the heroes in the background there of Evil Geniuses. So many more, though, are sitting real close to this creep wave, looking for their initiation. Sumail jumps forward here, clearing through the Alchemist illusions.
NEWBEE really want this. He's lined up for it. They're trying to send Moo forward. Bait for this, but EG not taking it.
KP jumps forward. He's going to be able to find his throw strike. They're going to try and pop Sumail almost instantly. Managed to get off the Chrono. Now the Chrono comes out. They're going to try and catch Hal. He's like, definitely down, but here comes the throw strike. Epicenter combination on the side of Sumail. He's surviving through, but not good enough. He ends up going down off the invest bomb. Oh my god, Hal! He barely survived through that one. Has the Armlet combo. Can he stay alive against Fear? Not good enough. The damage of Fear will persevere, but now Moo, he's going to be the one manning on against Fear. KP trying to escape with a Burrow Strike. They're getting tiny around Moo. They're just ignoring him as best as possible and dealing with the other NEWBEE members, but eventually one of them's got to go down. Looks like it's going to be PPD. Still inside of the Radiant Burn. Here comes KP back in with a Burrow Strike. Jumps upside, but Moo dropping lower and lower. He no longer has the chemical rage in about 5 more seconds. He may end up going down, dying a little bit more damage to the Radiant Burn. He does manage to get himself away for the time being. KP launches up for the Burrow Strike. Can't hit him. He's going to be dusted.
Taunting who at this point?
He thinks he can do this one. He's got no HP whatsoever. He's chasing KP away. And now Fear can come in. Blink over the side, manage to juke out Fear. Jump forward with the Shivas. Can't quite get him. Oh, no! The Timber Chain on point to hit the hero, but no trees.
You see the priority in both team fights as sides just trying to eliminate the supports and the disables, as EG just beeline for that Sand King in every engagement. And without him available, you see that move, he just can't get his damage out, even with his prodigious net worth.
At Eul Scepter, big save there for Sumail, bought him a lot of extra time to be able to dish out some damage. Because that combination, Burrow Strike and Skywrath Mage Mystic Flare, a huge amount of burst damage. They're trying to target Sumail every single time, and he needs extra bit of help. Where the Eul Scepter comes into play. Now the high hits well from the Elder Titan. Zai, having survived through that last team fight, had quite the large amount of network to work off of.
Right now, EG just ignoring this Alchemist who just doesn't deal enough damage
Radiant's
right now.
middle tower is under attack.
They're just trying to get rid of this Lifestealer and KP. Not enough credit as well to PPD, who got that disruption off onto Sumail, extended his life by so long.
Third disruption and replicate play, perhaps.
Right now, he's trying to connect, but
Jesus, now the Chronosphere is going to be on 3, but Sumail's already damaged. They may not have the damage. The Elder Titan is going to come through. How gets popped? Ethereal Blade and an Elder Titan ultimate just eliminates him in a 1-2 punch. And now they're going to try and catch KP as well. Skywrath Mage hiding with the Glimmer Cape. Luminator is going to balance off on the Fear. Moo is going to come in, though, with his illusions, burning away on some of Evil Geniuses, but not fully committing. They may have struck first by killing Sumail's Timber Saw, but it's Universe's Chronosphere that ends that argument.
I think EG are perfectly satisfied with that. Every single time you kill Sumail, you have so many abilities.
Indeed, found the disruption on the
don't want to die here.
The epicenter is going to be the response. He managed to catch 2 with the Burrow Strike. Universe looking for the time watch. Take it out. Moo battling up against Zai, but the damage from Fear is threatening his life. He's got to let that regen come into play and kite Fear around as best as possible. Zai trying to play around this Roach KP, trying to juke out the Burrow Strike. He knows it's coming. Did he just do it? Oh, it's under John. Zai, he throws up the storm. KP, he forced out himself way, blinks back in, goes for the right click. Unbelievable. Jukes him out beautifully by Zai. Keeps himself alive and back home to the fountain he goes.
I mean, look at the range on the Burrow Strike that KP has to work with. Zai just jukes him out of his shoes right now. EG.
KP with that beautiful initiation. So important that they kill Universe as well there. But Zai, what an unbelievable play right here as he jukes into the Roshan pit.
I cannot believe that he was able to survive throughout that.
Insane.
Clutch plays are going to determine this game, as these two teams are so close in terms of skill and the raw power of their lineups. So far, EG are holding serve right now, as NEWBEE every single time count them out. The center initiation from KP accomplished so much. Thinking about the 4 hero, they would have been happy with that.
Take off on Taka, not going to come to fruition. One, going to be able to provide the response. The old shit's dropped by Skywrath Mage, almost completing Fear, but he needs to get away. Now on to how the Chronosphere controls KP, but that's all it does. It doesn't actually get much damage out. Sumail still looking for that same King, but he's going to be kited around by the Burrow Strike, while PPD is just munched on by Hao and Moo. They come back into play. Sumail with the epicenter on. He is purging off the ult. He may have gotten at the end, Twog, but it doesn't matter. He still falls, draining his life away for the support. And Evil Geniuses are the ones to lose 3 this time.
And now there's a Roshan available to them, as Hao just going to walk into that pit, be very satisfied.
Dire's bottom tower.
He's going to drop the gem. KP probably drop the TP to pick this one up for himself. Even runs into a regen rune for his troubles.
You can see just how important that Chronosphere is when they get one in that doesn't manage to really control Moo or Hao, doesn't immediately pop a support.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
The fight just turns towards NEWBEE's favor.
The thing about that fight too is that Hao just immediately jumps on this Morphling, forces him back. Fear couldn't really contribute to his team's damage. It was this Elder Titan natural order plus this Morphling that was
Dire's
really winning the team fights for them, but forcing Fear out of the fight, making him play defensively is going to be the key for NEWBEE here, as they can kill the rest of the heroes quite easily, even Sumail.
These objectives are free picking. NEWBEE, they get the Roshan, Aegis, and the tier 2 at the bottom lane. Ball is in their court, so to speak, but NEWBEE, they need to draw out a plan, an exact game plan, how they want to be able to breach high ground. It doesn't seem like it's going to be off the back of a straight 5-man push. They need a pick off outside of the base first.
They're looking for it. Realize they've got to get the jump off first. Sumail finally picking up that BKB.
It's mine.
A long time coming.
Indeed, that combo, the shotgun combination of the Morphling, how dangerous it can be. Even a tanky hero like that Lifesteal.
Oh, there's a Bloodthorn coming in from Tao. Very good pickup for him.
That is great.
This is his answer to the Morphling.
That being said, we still have BKBs being picked up. Obviously, the Morphling already had his in this new fight. This upcoming fight, though, a fresh addition for Evil Geniuses will be the 10-second BKB for Sumail.
Right now, NEWBEE, they want to take this fight on the heels of their Aegis. They're gonna run into each other.
He fights the initiation. He's gonna be the first one to strike that BKB. Boo looking forward, but now he gets thrown his spear stopped. And LA in the background, there goes Swan. Combination. KP can't do anything. He only gets the throw strike now with his Sumail. The silence is there. Jump over, chasing down. The real target hit as well. They turn back on the left-hand side towards Tao. And a second life on that Aegis. Evil Geniuses may not be able to catch up with them, but they still won the fight. Finally being able to take out Moo's Alchemist.
That was so well done by Fear. He pops the BKB, he runs across that tree line, he finds KP, going for that epicenter, largely negates it, stopping his blink. He unable to do anything in that team fight to follow up for NEWBEE.
So he executes both Chuan as well as stops the counter initiation from KP. Fear, clearly the MVP of that last fight, followed up by that nice chronosphere by Universe. Let's see if they can do it again, though. This time, taking the one from the offensive route. Fear, and fighting up against Tao, is losing this one, though. The disruption goes down. Flying in the second or two. Needs more, fully up his strength as well. Starts going for the tier 2. Will jump away to his replicate just ahead of the Burrow Strike.
EG full retreat mode. Once
Radiant's
again,
top tower is under attack.
this mid-tier 2 tower, they've got a lot of map control, sending NEWBEE back. And that last fight just highlights how important this Sand King is to these engagements. Just isn't able to get his damage off. Team fights like this, you almost instantly lose. They need KP to have impact. Fear, because of how effective he's been with finding him so far in these fights, largely neutralize that threat. The Universe with the 2-man chronos minimum so far, it seems.
At the same time, NEWBEE have done a damn good job of shutting down Sumail. They've neutralized his Bloodstone almost entirely. He's down to 6 Bloodstone charges now, opposed to the 12 that you start out with. 26-9, 46 minutes in. Once again, we direct your attention to that gold graph. Again, it's misleading. We see that about 12,000 gold lead for NEWBEE. The experience is really what reflects the pace of this game. You can see almost dead even, a slight edge to Evil Geniuses for now. The game may change up any moment.
NEWBEE, about going aggressive soon. Moo's just going to shove in this mid wave, force EG to deal with it. Want to get the jump off first. They understand how key it is. Has been the entire game. They've got a smoke available to them. They want to force in all the waves before they make a move.
Dragon and Scepter. This is going to be given to this time.
Everyone's got one except Kaka.
Yeah, Kaka. Now it's your turn.
Dire's middle tower
but
is
is it
under
going to be
attack.
enough? They're gathered around this bottom area. They're just going to start to siege. They're going to dare NEWBEE to come back. Moo's going to send his illusions forward. That should be enough to stop it.
I mean, this is so much easier for Evil Geniuses to threaten high ground than it is for NEWBEE. They have absolutely no commitment whatsoever from EG when they just throw those replicates and those disruptive illusions to beat on the tier 3 tower, and it's forcing NEWBEE to either back up or actively jump outside of their base to engage with Evil Geniuses.
Gonna push out this bottom wave when they make any sort of play. EG now starting to use these Morph illusions, like you said.
We've got some loose travel now for Morphling. So that just means even more crazy movement around the map where this Morphling can potentially push in all the wins by himself.
They've smoked up, desperately want to start this fight. They've got one in the inventory still. Not desperate quite yet. EG, on the other hand, have any in inventory.
Initiation is the name of the game right now. NEWBEE are looking
their way up.
This smoke. They may be able to find one. Not a terribly great target. In fact, it's stumbled into the chronosphere. Universe follow-up. Now the other side open. Oh my god, the combination. It just wiped out KP. Sign and brings Jay down as well. Now here's up for it. He's going to go straight in towards out Wilson from quad.
They managed to get moved.
Turn towards two as a full four-man crew and meet on the big carry of NEWBEE. They take him down eventually with Fear entering into beyond godlike mode.
Universe with the counter initiation, finding the Sand King, who had to commit that stun but wasn't able to get out in time. And now EG have all the damage in the world to work with as Universe starts the hunt.
PPD playing the role of a petite little bait. NEWBEE, they've taken full force. They jump in, grab PPD, and immediately realize that it was all a trap set up by Universe's Chronosphere. Now here comes the buyback. NEWBEE gonna attempt to hold as best they can without the rest of their heroes, but surely there's gonna have to be another buyback from someone here.
Yep. And EG right now showing why Elvis Titan is such a force in this late game. His natural order is enabling everyone from EG to deal so much damage for free.
10 more seconds until Swan and KP are back up with the Oracle and Sand King. Evil Geniuses have already done enough though. They forced out a buyback and hold Moo as well as How.
They've opened up the game for themselves. If EG find either of these cores out of place, the game just ends in NEWBEE. They don't want to die waiting inside their base. They're going to make an aggressive move forward, but they can't afford to lose any of their cores here. They have to dominantly win this team fight if they want to reset this game.
Under attack.
Take their fate into their own hands, trying to create their own destiny by pushing out and being the aggressors, but they're just not going to find anything. It seems Evil Geniuses are dancing back. Hold that phone to die. He's actually going to be the target. Bullet strikes up. He's going to be immediately jumped on by How. The boys now playing a little bit of space. Instead, it's going to be Universe who goes down. He came in immediately silenced up by Kaka. Pulling it off the Persian time, and now Kaka, he gives up his life. Team maybe not. Oh, there's the stun. Can't get back home. Juan tries to save his fellow support, but it all comes in vain. Still though, the buyback from Universe, NEWBEE are so happy that pick off and the resulting retreat. They did not lose anything too critical.
Yeah, they just buy themselves some more time. Make EG a little bit too antsy. Universe thought that was going to be a continuation of a fight. EG not really in the best position to look for it, especially with Universe. Nowhere near that fight after that buyback as NEWBEE find some life.
How still needs so much item progression though. Look at he's sitting at that 20,000 net worth mark, and that may sound like a lot, but for 15 minutes in the game, you've got Evil Geniuses, both Samael as well as Fear, knocking on the door of a 30,000 net worth lead.
And Zai finishes a sight device. This other Titan has been an absolute monster in these team fights, and at bottom.
Now, forced into a rage as the Hero Blade approaches.
Here comes the corner. They can't afford to lose the man. The rage out. He's going to eventually fall, which means the man's going to be able to get so much damage. That's why Quan provides the ultimate. KP comes in with a spawning epicenter, man, to get the Summons back line. Almost. Maybe he can get Universe as well. The time walk almost up. And KP, that's where the side device comes in. But Fear, he actually goes down from the cores are dropping. Moo doing it. And now NEWBEE push out. They one more. They're going to be able to find the two. Zai going to be slowed down. Moo pushing forward. The stop not quite there in time. The untable to knock. Here comes the buyback. Fear senses this could be the end, but Samael's down, and the creep falls. Fear unable to complete the TP out, and NEWBEE, it's everything they can get their hands on, a grab bag. They're not going to be able to find another hero though. Zai looks like he juked that one out moving left, but still. Evil Geniuses, a nasty fight, and more buybacks being committed to what they think was going to be an endgame scenario, but it turns against them.
All of a sudden, NEWBEE finally find a win condition as that Morphling buys back thinking that if they pick off any of the cores, they've got the game ready, but EG not nearly in fighting position. And now NEWBEE are in such an advantageous position that Hal's going to pick up this Aegis. There's a cheese available on the ground now for KP. And further, just scaling later and later into this game successfully.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Drops the cheese, rather, and leaves it towards KP. He obviously wants the Aegis. This means that Al may no longer have to be the target of a false promise when he's on the front line to get initiated on by a Chronosphere.
Yep.
He's got that extra life to work with, and Juan can play a much calmer game by this time.
The only core with the buyback right now is going to be Sumail. That is okay for EG right now. They need one of their cores to be able to have the buyback, but if they lose Sphere Universe here, could just mean the game for them as NEWBEE pushes out so fast, and conversely for NEWBEE, 2 minutes of no buyback on their life sword, this Alchemist, but I think they're comfortable waiting because this Morphling has to wait so much longer, and EG have to play so carefully. You notice they're 5 inside their base right now. They're not willing to move out. Here, it looked like he even had to sell that Dragon Lance to afford that. Be able to go down there.
Let me propose something to you folks. Do you, as NEWBEE, knowing the buyback timer, do you wait until your buyback timer is up on Moo as well as Tao? That makes sense. But after that, once that's up, do you go full on to try and push high ground, knowing that KP doesn't have a buyback, but neither will Fear?
No, I don't think... Well, it's probably an okay trade for NEWBEE, because if they pick off the Morphling or the Void, I think they're in prime position anyways. They're probably going to wait out the buybacks of at least 2 cores just so they have that advantage.
Right.
They can probably hold high ground just using their Alchemist and their Lifestealer, but it's worth it to wait just because they have that timer advantage over Fear, who kind of shuttled inside his base right now. And EG, they're so afraid to lose anybody. They're just going to stick together as 5. What a back and forth match we've had so far.
It's been insane. Both teams know that a single pickoff be what cost them this game number 2, this best of 3 series in the upper bracket. That's why both teams staying grouped up. Finally, we have some item progression for How. Still doesn't have buyback for another minute and a half, so he commits to the Assault Cuirass, knowing that in that minute and a half timer, he will have enough gold.
Yep, and that's the Hex completed now for Moo. Understanding he needs another disable in case his Sand King goes down early. Since KP doesn't have that buyback available, and with buybacks refreshing soon on NEWBEE, it looks like they want to make their move. ED can incentivize it even more.
Unfortunately, Skyrath Mage hasn't taken for himself. That's the 56 minutes Martin would have refreshed that rune.
Everybody from EG just continuing to wait inside the base patiently. 3 minutes to go on Fear's buyback.
We approach that hour marker. It seems like that is the time that NEWBEE will go for the high ground push. They're setting up for it now. 5 mid, side lanes, decently well pushed out. You'll have bottom lane about midway through, and top is being actively pushed away by that replicate of the Morphling. They may not get a better shot at this as NEWBEE.
Aegis and Cheese, they want to bait this forward. If they pull up the tunnel onto just Hal in exchange for his Aegis, they'd be really happy with that. But
Great thousand. Hal realizes he can't actually fight against those illusions. Instead, he'll recover his HP off the neutrals, and with the help of Juan's Purifying Flames, man.
See, they don't want to wait too long. Still have this opportunity as the Morph. No buyback for 2 minutes, but it looks like they are afraid to overextend. They might just reset and maybe wait for EG to try to get aggressive again. They know that EG are pulled up in their base for the duration of this Morphling's buyback.
Never know if that push has been NEWBEE's downfall or their saving grace. Either way, NEWBEE will buy themselves more time. Gonna deal with the side lane pushes for now and look towards not forcing evil geniuses to make
Radiant's
a mistake
top tower is under attack.
instead of being the active force.
Radiant's top tower
Now,
has
going to
been
deny
denied.
this top tower. They're going to show themselves, and I think this is going to enable EG to get aggressive again. They should smoke.
They know the Aegis is about to go down.
They're going to go for it. Even with a minute buyback remaining on Fear, they think this is enough time to make a move. This might throw NEWBEE off. NEWBEE might be expecting them to wait the full duration.
Lifestealer. He may be the one that evil geniuses run into here. He's farming up the Ancients. Will go. 15-minute rune is right there. Doesn't go for it though. Outplaying his they feel the push first, and Evil Geniuses smoke. Results in absolutely nada.
Aegis is going to fade though, and NEWBEE, they're also hightailing it back to their base. Kind of poke around and feel, see if NEWBEE would engage that fight.
So, the game now entirely resets. Our next clash may come to a head based around Roshan. We'll have to see if either one of these two teams wants to get aggressive before that point, though.
We'll take that.
Both of them staying 5-man, both of them staying relatively focused on their own side of the map. Male now could go for that ultra late game build. Aims towards the Dagon 5 for the extra burst damage.
Yeah, without any charges available on that Bloodstone, I doubt he cares anymore about that respawn timer. It barely makes a difference at this point. His mana regen is going to be just fine with that Octarine core.
All right. One more axe and to himself. All that's left. Poor old Hal.
It's kind of cool. He invests Dragon Scepter. You just do these weird 4-man ganks, just everybody hop into KP, take a taxi.
Regeneration.
Evil Geniuses are pushing out to the Radiant jungle. NEWBEE mirroring Geniuses as best as possible. Will go up to the top lane.
5 acts available on almost everybody. Teams feel pretty comfortable making aggressive maneuvers.
The Male's got quite a good amount of surplus gold. He can actually get that Dagon 5 pretty soon. Burst damage. That's going to be causing so much havoc to heroes like Juan's Oracle and Kaka's Skywrath Mage.
Radiant's
They
bottom
did not
tower
have a whole
has
lot of
been
HP
denied.
to work with in the first place.
Yeah. So push at bottom though by the illusions of Morphling, enable them to take that tower. G just back off on the heels of that. This team fight going to determine a pretty decent amount, especially with who's able to get aggressive on the map.
Alright, so pretty much everyone's back to full buyback status, including Juan. Getting closer and closer. There's the Dagon flying towards Sumail. He is fully peaked out. A boots of travel level 2 for him. We are going to see the full extent of the ultra late game of these two drafts and what exactly an Alchemist, Sand King, and Lifestealer, the backup of the Skywrath Mage and Oracle, can do against Evil Geniuses, Morphling, and Timbersaw late game.
EG going to filter down into this dire jungle. They can start to control this Rosh pit and force NEWBEE to make the move outside their base. The BKB is not
Invisibility.
Base for Universe. Going to be a game-changing rune. We'll have to see. His invisibility gives him the correct positioning for the perfect Chronosphere. Roshan, potential spawn time has just started. These two teams will start making their way towards each other. Already the scan has gone out. They know some heroes are here. They're trying to find the initiation. The Universe is in.
They're not going to see him. KP peeking the sun, and Universe gets the Chronosphere. The follow-up from Evil Genius. KP throws down the epicenter, but gets caught up. Ineffective. Now they start going for the side. He will go down, but boom. Down for 2 minutes. He needs to be getting back up. But how? He can't make it out against Universe and Fear. Buyback's going to have to start coming out from NEWBEE as they're going to be forced back to their base. Evil Geniuses. They start swarming in. They know they found NEWBEE in a moment of weakness. If they can just take out one hero that doesn't have buyback without trading anything else, this game may be theirs.
Yeah, NEWBEE right now being pressed back is they're going to have to commit the buybacks. There is no Chronosphere available on EG,
Radiant's
so they might even
middle
just
tower is
reset
under
this
attack.
and go for the Aegis of their own.
Radiant
The
structures
Moo looking
are
for an
fortified.
initiation. He's got to be careful. He's just going to stun out.
EG is in a trepidation as they start moving towards the Mail. He gets caught by the trap. The buyback comes out from KP, and they do get the Mail, but that is
Radiant's
still a
middle
great
barracks has
position.
fallen.
See that fight?
This is the fight that pretty much determines the tempo of a full late game for at least another 10 minutes. That Chronosphere perfectly well placed, and Moo, the combination of that Elder Titan ultimate, which you said time and time again, so powerful in the late game, and then Fear's burst damage with the Ethereal Blade shotgun combination just overwhelms Moo's high amount of HP.
And during that time as well, EG pick up that mid-rax. the one that they want, but PPD manages to cut the range one just on the strength of the illusions that he keeps sending in. NEWBEE, just another factor that they have to deal with, is they've now got to constantly push out this mid wave, and they have the option of taking this Aegis at any point.
Here is almost got 300 agility. He'd be worth a little bit more. He would have 300 agility.
They are now one successful move kill away from winning this game as well.
Yep. KP as well would be a decent advantage, stopping the initiation from NEWBEE, but as you said earlier, that's why Moo went for the Scythe device. If he doesn't have KP to rely on, if he gets picked off, they don't have a Burst Strike to work with, they still need a hard disable.
G just shoving in this mid lane, forcing NEWBEE to deal with it. At some point, EG have to realize this Aegis is available for them. Got the dire side advantage, Universe has the Chronosphere available, and a freshly minted 10-second BKB. So powerful in this 64-minute game.
There are absolutely no disables of NEWBEE that go through the magic immunity, so it's all up to them to find the initiation. Otherwise, KP's follow-up of Epicenter of Burrow Strike may be rendered completely ineffective.
Yes.
They're gonna find the initiation, the Chronosphere comes first! Burrow Strike not fast enough! Combo! Already KP down, one about the ball as well. Universe forced out that ultimate, now turns the attention towards how Sai gonna be saved by the disruption. Universe forced to time walk himself away. Samael right in the middle of all this, but how inevitably will go down. And Evil Genius is about to force yet another buyback from NEWBEE.
They've been so patient, this entire team. Now EG, they're going to start making their way bottom. They're going to force another buyback out. This time around, though, KP doesn't have it available. NEWBEE can't afford to lose any of their cores now. Either of them having buybacks.
4 versus 5 with no buybacks whatsoever. NEWBEE, a miracle defense needed here. And they're just going to be chipped away one by one. The illusions start coming in, eating away at the melee racks. There's always the save for the Oracle. Ready to go. Evil Geniuses, Bloodthorn out onto Universe. Universe is now out of the Fuse Blade charges. The melee racks inevitably goes down. They also have to deal with top lane where Fear is heading over. Might just be able to get him. They got it. They burst it down Fear. Now they have to rotate back to bottom where Evil Geniuses are threatening the racks. But another Bloodthorn, and this time around, don't defuse the blade charges for the save. Can't time block that one off inside. He'll be cleaned up as well. Samael completes his TP. Now, it may just be NEWBEE's turn to force out some buybacks from Evil Geniuses, but first, they have to deal with the waves.
Radiant's top tower
Fierce
is under
decision to go
attack.
for this top push.
Radiant's top
A little
tower
bit too
has
greedy
fallen.
as he does manage to eventually take down the tower with the help of the creeps. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get this bottom racks. NEWBEE, though, in a position where maybe EG can just go for it again as they all have buybacks available. NEWBEE in a position, if they lose a core at any point in the next 5 minutes, would almost just lose the game. Especially this Lifestealer, and EG, they just want to wait out their buybacks if they can. That would be a huge advantage for them. So now a Refresher Orb is completed. This is truly the late game.
Not sure if I've ever seen a Refresher on Oracle.
Like, that's how late game we are.
Here we go. Another Roach, but this time, where does the Aegis go? How can probably just drop his SMY?
Not that big of an item, as actually going to drop
Roshan
his
has
Demon
fallen
Engine
to the
instead.
Radiant.
And they just abandoned the cheese. They've got a second one already.
Chuan needs it. He's got the Refresher. He needs the extra mana.
Yeah, and this mid wave has to be dealt with. Keep pushing in this top wave. Probably has to boots to travel back, or at least Moo has to shove in this wave, but now it's NEWBEE.
25 seconds left. They're going to try and go high ground, it seems, before Fear is back up naturally. Force him into that awkward decision of buying back with only a few seconds left or losing an objective eventually. So now he's going to be on the front lines here with that chakra. With the glyph down, no, NEWBEE aren't going to back up. They're going to continue to go for it. Teamsting, of course, Evil Genius is into some sort of area here, but now Fear is about to be back up, and Universe waiting on the side for the Chronosphere.
Who's going to get hexed up, but quick retreat as G, again, weren't forced to use the buybacks. And although NEWBEE have the Aegis and cheese, it's like
This and cheese not nearly as powerful as the buybacks that Evil Genius are holding on to, so clearly still an advantages. The boys in blue.
still only takes one fight from EG, especially if they manage to catch out this Lifestealer. doesn't have the buyback available for him.
20% How's total deaths at TI6 to come from this game. 10 deaths right now on How in a 68-minute game. Ooh, even less than that. 6, and 19 right now, and time for some extra couriers.
Now there's an MKB on this Life Stealer. He's going to be able to deal with this Morphling even better now. Doesn't have that lockdown of maybe something like an Abyssal Blade would be able to help him out. And G gathered around. They have a smoke available. They're a little bit reluctant to take this fight. But NEWBEE, even with the Aegis and Cheese, being a little bit too hesitant. And now a Hex is completed on Sumail, another control factor. Can be great against those 5-second BKBs.
They have a buyback on Moo, and Moo alone, AP, another 30 seconds until he has his. How has the extra life for the Aegis, but he still needs another full 3 minutes. There's going to be, I think, a very clear time where the Aegis goes down, and they're going to try and have a buyback. EG may try and exploit yet another Aghanim. Another final Aghanim.
Know how's up there.
Finally be graced with that extra ability, Assimilate. Out of smoke, Evil Geniuses, they've already popped it. They're going to start coming in, they managed to get the side to bites on How they had the Aegis, so they start ignoring him, realizing that's not the initiation that they want. But about Battle of Illusions commence. Disruption, onto the Ultimate Illusion now, jump forward, Quantum Spheres out. Fear and Sumail, little insulated, getting there to the Ultimate. Ultimate is also going to be over the top. Managed to double save though, and Quad gets off both ultimates down. Still, the side device is controlling up Move. Jump inside, insets up. How's going to pop back out. He's low HP, but he immediately jumps on the side. Side with the Yule Scepter self-save, and Sumail executes Move. They take out How as well. They've got a all in the same Life Stealer. He can't afford his eyes to be able to take How. How is already going to be stopped up. Down to half HP. Scotty kinda can't get his paws on anybody. Can't invest his back. Their last corner. How will fall. Sumail takes him out and Moo. He thought he could save the Life Stealer, but not a chance. AP comes back in. A last minute response to the everything, but it's not enough. He will fall as well as EG still look healthy as all hell, and that is it. NEWBEE College and Evil Geniuses. They move on to 0-ing NEWBEE in the upper bracket.
A tug of war that eventually EG comes out on top of. What a fight that NEWBEE put up in EG. They eventually persevere on the back of so many different clutch plays, and they managed to make it work for them, as none of them had to commit that buyback near the end.